Hey y'all, this is Jamie. Welcome back to my channel. So today is the third video in my makeup collection series, and I will be going through all of my eyeshadows. So that's palettes as well as single shadows. Before we get to that, make sure you subscribe to my channel and hit that notification bell so you can be notified when I upload a new video. Also make sure that you hit that thumbs up button if you like this and would like to see the rest of my collection. I think I have a few more categories to go through. Without further ado, let's get into this. Alright, so this first eyeshadow palette, I guess palette, maybe call it a quad, is from e.l.f. and I'm honestly not 100% sure what it's called. All of these products that I mentioned today, if I can still find a link, if they're not discontinued, I will leave a link to them in the description box down below. But this one is from e.l.f. I think it's called their like Flawless Finish or something like that eyeshadow palette. But it comes with 4 different shades and I've used them a little bit, so it's kind of rubbed off. But it did have for each shade where you were supposed to put it kind of pressed into the eyeshadow. So this one was supposed to be base, this one is for the lid, this one is crease, and then this one it says lash line, I think, or line. This one says line, but I definitely think this is great if you're a beginner, or it's great if you're traveling, something that's like no fuss, no question. This goes here, this goes here, this goes here, kind of something like that. So, and it was like a little over $1, so not bad. So this next one is from one of my favorite brands, if not my favorite drugstore brand. This is from Wet n Wild. It is the Color Icon Rosé in the Air palette. Now they have several of these and I've actually wanted to get several of them. There was one that looked very Pocahontas-y to me. I will put it up on the screen. But I actually had wanted to get that to do my Pocahontas look, but I realized I actually had all those colors already. So basically all of them look great to me and I would like to get more. They're only like maybe $4.99 I think for all of these shades. That's 10 shades. That's 10 shades. It's got 2 transition shades up here depending on your skin tone or depending on the look that you're going for. So we have more of a warm tone transition shade down here and more of a cool tone transition shade up here. We've got 2 shimmer shades and then the rest are mattes and they're really good quality. You can do a lot of different looks with this and I really enjoy this palette and I would highly recommend it. So now to get into a palette that I'm actually not a huge fan of, I think simply because I've outgrown it. I actually liked it when I was first starting out, but I think as I started using more products, better quality products, I kind of outgrew this. Now, it's not a bad palette whatsoever. It's just, it's kind of you know, it's not the best, but it's not the worst that I've ever used either. And I think this is also a good beginner palette. It's got plenty of shimmer shades, plenty of matte shades. They don't go on too pigmented, so you definitely can build them up. Oh, sorry, I didn't even mention what this was. This is the LA Girl eyeshadow collection Nudes. I think it's the Beauty Brick. This is a okay palette, not bad, not great. Alright, so this next one is from the brand Mellow, which I had never heard of before I got this. I got this in one of my Yes Oh Yes boxes. This is the Treasure Chest palette, and packaging A++, because it's super glitterified, but it's not that glitter that will come off every time you touch it. It's pretty sturdy, it's not just like cardboard, and I think this is a kind of middle of the line as far as price. It's not really drugstore, but it's not really high end. I think it was around $25 to $30. This one, I actually was not very impressed by how the shades performed. First of all, when I opened it, it didn't really speak to me very much. I think most of these are pretty cool tones, in which I don't use a lot of cool tone shades. There are a couple of warm tones in there. These matte shades are just kind of weird. They're really pressed in there, but I wasn't super impressed with them for the price that I saw that this palette was. I even have less expensive palettes that actually perform better than this one, so I don't know that I would recommend going out and buying this. Alright, so this next palette comes from the brand Profusion. It is the Divine Eye and Cheek palette in Nude. Now I talked about this a little bit when I did my blush, bronzer, and highlighter makeup collection video, because this does have a blush, or 2 blushes. Yeah, This does have 2 blushes and a highlighter in there. So I talked about this a little bit. I said I would talk about the rest of this in this video. So here we are, I shall talk about it. This I actually quite like. So it's got 5 matte shades. These all across the top are matte, and then this one right here is matte, and then these 3 are your shimmer shades. This is a really great palette just for every day. Obviously, there's not a lot of variation in the shades. There's not a lot of like pops of color or anything, but I think that if you're looking for a palette that you can just grab and go, I mean, you've got 2 blushes right here, you've got your highlighter, and you've got enough to create a very neutral everyday look. Like I said in that last video, I don't think that they still have this palette because I got it at Marshall's. And typically when things go to Marshalls or TJ Maxx, they are either on their way out or they're already out the door as far as with that brand. So Profusion does not still have this particular makeup palette, but I do think that they still have some similar. I will try to link them down below. I like the formula for their eyeshadows. I like the formula for their highlighters. I haven't yet used one of their blushes, and I think that they do sell Profusion at Target as well as just at their Profusion website. Alright, so this next palette is one from Disney that I got at Target. I actually have a whole video reviewing this palette. I will leave it up in the cards if you would like to go take a look, but this is just called the eyeshadow palette from Disney. It's got really cute Mickey Mouse right here on the front. This also came with a brush, it looks like, but I actually don't remember what the brush looked like whatsoever. I really like this palette. I know it doesn't have, if you go to the Target website, it doesn't have that great of a review. I think it has like 3.5 stars out of 5. I actually quite liked it, and I think that it kind of has the perfect mix of shimmers and mattes, and it's kind of got everything that you would need to create an eyeshadow look. You know, you've got your transition shades, and then you've got these dark shades to deepen that outer V, and then you've got plenty of shimmer shades to choose from, and you've even got a highlighting shade. So I think it kind of has everything you would need in a palette. So this next one is actually one of my favorite palettes. This is the IBY Beauty Desert Vibes eyeshadow palette. And I also used this in a tutorial, I think in my fall makeup tutorial, so I will link that up above if you would like to go check that out. This again it's a great palette. It's got a lot of color payoff, beautiful shades, and this is a great fall eyeshadow palette. I think I got this in like April or May, but it's a great fall eyeshadow palette. So this next one is another favorite of mine. So this is from Beauty Creations, which is a brand that you can get on the Shop Hush app. This is their Cali Set eyeshadow palette. So this one I think is a great like Valentine's Day. I don't know if you have Valentine's Day palettes, if that's a thing. It's got really pretty cranberry shades, dark brown shades, like rose gold, champagne-y, shimmer shades. It's so pretty. It performs very well. This is a great transition shade for me when I'm planning on doing kind of a darker smoky look. And then you've got kind of a bone shade for you to lay down as your base. And yeah, these are great shimmer shades. What else can I say? It's pigmented, it performs well, it blends well on the eyes. Okay, so this is a palette that I am so unbelievably confused about because the first time I used it, it was absolute garbage. That was quite dramatic. The first time that I used it, it just wasn't great. I felt like I just kept going into these matte shades and not getting a lot of color payoff on my eyes. The shade right here called Coral Punch, it's got quite a bit of a divot in it because I've used so much of it, because that was one of the shades that I bought this palette for. I was wanting to create kind of a peachy look. I kept going into it, putting it on my eyes, being like, where is it? Going back into it, putting it on my eyes. But I think that I could have possibly been using this in the wrong way and using that matte shade in the wrong way. I was trying to just lay down a matte shade all over my lid, and it just might not be the eyeshadow for that, because the second time I used this palette, I put that shade in my crease just with a fluffy blending brush, and it showed up, and I didn't have to put that much in it. The shimmer shades are really pretty. So I would say out of 5, this has like a 3.8, almost a 4 for me, which by the way, this is the Maybelline Lemonade Craze palette. I know right now that they just came out with the Soda Pop palette, which I have seen a couple of reviews on that palette, and they've been really good so far. So maybe I just was using this in the wrong way the first time I used it. Okay, so this next palette is from Hard Candy. It is the Rose Gold Look Pro Eyeshadow Pro palette. This is when I was trying to find like the least expensive products that give me the most amount of product. This is 15 shades and it was $10 from Hard Candy. Like I said, Hard Candy you can find at Walmart. They also have their own website. I haven't used it recently, so I don't quite know how it performs now that I've been using makeup more and that now that I have maybe a bit of a higher standard for makeup. When I used it before, I thought the matte shades were nice. They blended out easily. The shimmer shades were pretty, if not a little bit chunky. So they're not like the creamiest or smoothest shimmer shades. But once you start putting them on your lid, I do think that that chunkiness kind of blends out. That was washing machine. So this palette is from the brand Beauty Glaze. It is the Textured Shadows palette, Rose Gold edition. And this is supposed to be a dupe for the Huda Beauty Rose Gold palette. I'm so sorry if y'all hear the neighbors are having yard work done. But this one, it's not great. Like, you can definitely tell that this was only about $8 to $10. So if you only have $8 to $10 and you wanted the Huda Beauty, you wanted kind of that color story, you wanted that layout, but you can't afford Huda Beauty, I think hers are in the $50 to $60 range. I think this is worth it. Okay, so this next one I got really excited about when I saw it on the Hot Topic website. So this is the Marvel Infinity Eyeshadow Collection by Her Universe, the Avengers Infinity War palette with the Infinity Stones. But you have all of your, this is upside down. You have all of your Infinity Stones, so you have reality, space, mind, time, soul, and power. And then around the outside you have more of your neutral shades. That's still loud, very loud. Toby, don't add to it. I think this is definitely a companion palette to use in combination with another palette that you have, or if you just have a couple of single transition shades that you like to use. So this next palette is from RK by Kiss. It is their Dear Diary series, the Sunset Kiss palette. Unlock your story. So this one is an all shimmer palette, so there are no matte shades in this, so it is again another companion palette. I think that they perform pretty well. It was only maybe a couple of dollars at Walmart. RK by Kiss is a very inexpensive brand. So this next palette is actually the only product that I own from this brand. This is the Morphe 35W palette, and I actually got it off of Amazon. Almost every YouTuber talks about Morphe and has some kind of affiliate code with Morphe. So I was like, ooh, I gotta try some Morphe products. I saw it on Amazon for like $23 for all of these shades. I decided to go for it, and I haven't really used this very often. The colors just don't really speak to me, you know? But seriously, they just, I don't know, they don't really inspire me to do much, and I don't see a look that I can do when I look at this palette, because there are a lot of palettes that I have now in which I'm like, ooh, I want to use that color in something. Ooh, I want to use that. I want to use that combination. I want to do this, that. I just don't do that when I look at this palette. Plus, I'm not very impressed with how these shadows perform. Now, like I said, I did get it on Amazon, so I guess it is very possible that this may be not a real Morphe palette. I don't know. Or maybe they reformulated and they're a lot better now than this, which is probably true. I think this is one of their older palettes, but I'm not very impressed by the formula and how these perform. I think that I have some other ones that perform a lot better than this. All right, so this next one, we're about to get into our BH Cosmetics palettes, because I've got, I think, 3 of them. So this one is the BH Cosmetics Carly Bible 10 color eyeshadow and 4 color highlighter palette. And I think that the highlighters are great shades. They kind of going from lightest skin tone to dark skin tone. So you can also use the highlighters as eyeshadows. I wasn't super impressed with when I first used it, but I definitely will still need to keep using this because I love BH Cosmetics eyeshadows. Two of my favorite eyeshadow palettes are BH Cosmetics. It's great for Carly Bible that she had a palette and had this collaboration. If you did not know, which you probably do, if you're watching my video, you most likely know who Carly Bible is. She is a beauty influencer here on YouTube. I don't know if this is still available. It may have been discontinued. I get excited whenever I see YouTubers who have collaborations with beauty brands. I think it's awesome, and I think it's such an achievement, and it's awesome. It's inspirational as well. So this is one of my favorite palettes, if not my favorite one. This is the BH Cosmetics ShanXO, the Remix palette. So ShanXO, if you did not know, is another beauty YouTuber, and she actually has her own makeup line, but she's also done some collaborations with other brands. BH Cosmetics is one of them. I love using this palette. It's a great palette. It's really good quality. You've got a whole bunch of different looks that you can do with this palette. It's a great deal. It's a great bargain. I absolutely love it. All right, so this next palette I think is either tied or slightly beats out the ShanXO palette, which is so surprising because it's so colorful and not at all what I would think that I would like. But it is the BH Cosmetics Weekend Festival palette. I remember seeing this on Instagram before it came out and just being like, ooh, pretty colors. I love all of these colors, and I think this is one palette. It has 20 shades, and I think I've used almost all 20 of these shades somehow. And that's I don't even, sometimes in like a 10 shadow palette, I don't use all the shades. I absolutely love this one, and I think that it inspires me so much, and that's really cool because I never thought of myself as being a creative and like being inspired by things. I would highly recommend it to everyone and anyone. I will say, if you have been looking into this palette and want to get it, you need to get it now before it goes away, because as of right now, they no longer sell this on the BH Cosmetics website. They do still have it for sale on the Ulta website. I don't think they ever had it in Ulta stores, but they do still have it on the Ulta website. I think it's $18 for 20 shades. That's less than $1 per eyeshadow. So this one is my newest eyeshadow palette to my collection. It is from the brand Essence, which is one of my absolute favorite drugstore brands. I love their mascaras. I love their highlighter. This one is the Spice Up Your Life eyeshadow palette. I do have a review and a tutorial using this one. I believe that one's already up. If so, I will link it down below. But I did swatches, I did a eyeshadow look using this, so definitely look in the description box if you would like to see that. This next one is one of two high-end eyeshadow palettes. That I have. This is from the brand Too Faced. It is their Boudoir Eyes Soft and Sexy Eyeshadow Collection. So this one is one of those that has guidelines as to how to use them. So this one, it says, is your day look, then it has your classic look, then it has your fashion, more nighttime look. I got this from, I think it was either TJ Maxx or Marshalls, and I think it's regularly like $36 possibly. I believe that I got it for around $14.99. The only reason why I got this was because it was Too Faced, and Too Faced is a well-known brand, highly talked about brand, and I really wanted to try a Too Faced product. But this is just not really, these are not really my colors. This is a very cool tone palette, and I just don't really like those on my skin tone. Even though I did get this at TJ Maxx or Marshalls, I do believe that they still have it on their website, if not the Sephora website. I think I saw it on the Sephora website. So I think you still can get this if you are interested. So this next palette is one of the only ones, well, like I said, I only have two high-end palettes. This is the only one that I actually paid full price for. So this is the Anastasia Beverly Hills Soft Glam palette. I have not been disappointed. This performs so well. It is a little intimidating because you get a lot of color payoff at once with like the smallest little touch of your brush. You get a lot of color payoff on your eyes. So that can be a little bit intimidating, especially if you are a beginner. These are my two favorite shades right here, Burnt Orange and Orange Soda. They are the perfect transition shades for my skin tone. All of the shimmer shades are really pretty. I really love this one. It's got this noir shade is like the perfect black matte shade. I love this palette and I do not regret spending $42 on this. All right, so moving on to some of my single shadows. I don't have too many. We'll get through this pretty quickly. So this is from the brand Beauty Basics, and it is the Satin Taupe Foiled Eyeshadow. This one is actually really pretty, and I will say I have not grabbed it, I've not reached for it, and I don't know why. It's probably because it's a single shadow and they're kind of kept kind of in the back of my drawer. So I need to bring this out to the front and use it a little bit more because that is so pretty. And it's the kind of shade that I like to use as a shimmer shade on my lid. So I will definitely need to bring that out. I think this was in one of my beauty boxes that I got, but I really like that, and I think I need to look more into Beauty Basics as a brand. So this next single shadow that I have is from the brand Meech and Mia, and it is the Pressed Gunmetal eyeshadow. It is actually a really cool shade, and it very much is gunmetal. It's kind of a really dark gray, kind of a satin shade, which is really cool, and I think would be cool if you were creating kind of a smoky eye. Okay, so then I do also have one single shadow from Anastasia Beverly Hills. This is in the shade China Rose, which is a really pretty, almost peachy, bronzy shimmer shade. Alright, so the last thing that I have to show you is not just for the eyes, you can use it kind of on your face, the rest of your face and your body. This is the NYX Face and Body Glitter in the shades Black, Crystal, and Emerald. I got this, I think, from TJ Maxx. It came in a set with a glitter primer. I really liked them. I used it's called Emerald, but I honestly think it's more like a teal. I think it's more blue than green. I used that shade for one of my Ariel looks for my Disney series, and I quite enjoyed it. I think it went on a little bit better than I thought it would because it is loose glitter. So I've not used the crystal or the black shades yet. I'm really excited about using those. I like these. I think they perform well. I really like the NYX glitter primer as well. So even if you don't get these, I would definitely recommend that glitter primer. Alright y'all, so that is it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to subscribe to my channel and hit that notification bell so you can be notified when I upload a new video. Also give this a thumbs up if you like seeing makeup collection videos and would like to see more. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see y'all in my next video. Bye y'all.